Hey there, everyone, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to talk about the Jade Bones by Lenny Forbes. So this is the sequel to The Seventh Son. It is, um, it does take from Aztec, Mayan mythology and culture. Um, I personally liked it. I do, you can trace my grandmother's line pretty much all the way back when. Um, so I do have some very thin, very thin, very diluted Aztec ancestors, but you know what? It's still there. So I did appreciate the story um, as someone who comes from that culture and that background. So I have to say, I think I like this one more than the first one. If you remember my review of the first one, I'll include a link. Did I review it? Can't remember if I had started reviewing books on YouTube then yet, and I think I did. I had some problems with some of the characterization, but here I'm kind of very impressed. I definitely do see that the author's writing is improving, and to me, that speaks volumes. I love when you can see the author growing in their writing. And I think what helped the story as well is because we're not just following Mayana anymore. We're following Prince Akin. We're following Yemenia. Yemenia is my new favorite character. I love her. She is nobility. She's descendant of the goddess of healing. And so whenever she slices her hand, she can use that power within her to heal others. But she doesn't just use it to do, she doesn't just do that. She also uses her knowledge and her brain to look at herbal and medicinal remedies to help others. And you sort of feel bad for Yemenia because in the first book, you got to see it. She wasn't really appreciated from her family. She was sent to be a sacrifice. Like, no one in her family thought, oh, yeah, you're totally going to win the prince's heart at all. No one thought that. They're just like, no, you're going to be the sacrifice because you're the one we can afford to lose. We don't really care for you. And she's not as tall as her other siblings. She's not as lean as her other siblings. She is short and curvy. There's nothing wrong with that. And I appreciate that the author is doing some body positivity with her because she's finding comfort in herself. She's learning to love herself. She's learning that by being herself, people truly worthy of her will love her. And she meets someone incredible. Let me tell you, like, yes, Yemenia, you're just like, you go, girl. That was me. She's taking the world by storm. And I really did like her character development for the story because she becomes way more confident, way more self-assured, way more comfortable in her own skin, whereas her entire family, pretty much her entire life, has made her feel bad for looking the way she does, which is so uncool. Never, ever, ever. You should never ever make anyone feel bad for the way that they look if you care about them, you know? It's like they are what they are. If they're so overweight that it's, unhealthy, that their health is at risk, then raise concerns. But the same can be said if they're really thin and you are concerned for them as well. You can be really thin and still be healthy. My mom is a prime example of that. And I know people, like I've said, who are curvier and bigger than me, and they're probably way healthier than me. So you should never just judge people by their appearance because you have no idea what's going on in their lives, you know. But that's something I took away from the story, the body positivity and the character growth with Yemeni. And I do like, this is probably why I like the story more, because we have these two, actually three perspectives. You've got Yemenia, Prince Akin, and Mayana. Before it was just, you were really just following Mayana. And I felt, I'm thinking back on it. I should have looked at my notes for not the Jade Bones, for the Seventh Son. I feel like there was something that lacked with her. But here, you're getting all these different personalities, and they're really balancing out the narrative here. Especially because, spoiler alert if you haven't read The Seventh Son, Prince Akin discovers that they're wrong, that their whole belief system is pretty much a lie. It was rewritten to benefit upper class, surprise, surprise, that to keep people in order, So the mother goddess, the duality, she has revealed to Prince Akin and Mayana in the underworld at the end of book 1, because his sister, his twin sister, and you kind of hate her for it, but in this book you're understanding her more, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, was making him think, oh yeah, the world's coming to an end, you have to sacrifice yourself to save the world. And he does, and Mayana's like, no, you don't. So she goes into the underworld after them, and they're saved by the mother goddess, and yeah, he's discovered everything he believed is a lie. And Mayana's just like, I knew it. I knew it was all a lie. Knew it. So I do love their personalities. I do love how these two characters balance each other out. And I love both of their journeys as well. Mayana was she was loved by her family, but the fact that she wasn't like gung-ho for their religious practices did create a wedge between them. Unfortunately, they love her, but they're just like, come on, man, like, just get with the program. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna get with the program. It's wrong. We shouldn't be doing it. And they're like, but the codex, the religious text says. And she's like, I don't care. It's wrong. And you kind of want to be like, bravo, Mayana, bravo. You get to see more of her ferocity in this book. Now that she knows that she's right, there's way more ferocity in her characterization and her development for the overall narrative. Same with Prince Akin, he's discovering everything he knew was a lie. His mother didn't have to kill herself once their father died. His sister made this decision pretty much because she felt powerless. Through Yemenia, you get to see how the women are treated in this culture. I mean, you can't condone with Prince Akin's, I can't remember her name for some reason. You can't condone what she did, but you can understand it. There's a sense of understanding that comes with reading this novel that wasn't there in the previous novel. You're just like, she's just power hungry. Like, no, she's not just power hungry. She wants control over her own life, and she doesn't have it. And that's what kills her, inside. That's what kills her inside. That she is making all of these decisions to better her own life, because she's a smart person. I'm not saying she would be a bad empress. In fact, I think she would be a great empress given the chance, a fair chance and a deceitful one. But she's made a deal with the obsidian butterfly, and you're like, oh, this is a deity you kind of don't want to get mixed up with. But it's happening. It's there. Lots of tension. When you got to the end, I was like, when's book 3 coming out? I need to read book 3 right now. I need to read it now. I felt like the pacing was better. And it was a little bit like Dante's Inferno because not Yemenia. Mayana and Akin, they're traveling through the levels of hell. That's their journey. They have to get back to the overworld, our realm, the alive realm. And they have to travel through all these layers that are horrific and make them face their worst nightmares. But it's a journey of growth for both of these characters, and there's a lot of tension, and the pacing is well done. And I like that the story splits between the perspectives because you really are getting a really wide scope of this overall narrative. And I thought it was really well done, and I really did enjoy this book way more than The Seventh Son. I thought it was something. I read this book in 2 days. 2 days. I couldn't put it down. Didn't want to put it down. It was a good book. I'm so looking forward to the third one. Thank you, publisher, for giving me an arc of this book because I'm so excited for the third one. I really am. I need to see how the story is going to play out. I love the character development. I love the characterization. I love how the journey of the story is evolving and it's growing into something unexpected and delightful. I am here for it. It was a good book. It really was. It really was. A little bit of a slow start in that opening. I will say this. I didn't know initially if I was going to love this book as much as I do, just because it's slow. And, I was coming off of The Seventh Son memories, and I'm just like, I don't remember loving that book as much. I remember it being a good, book, a decent book. But I'm like, I don't remember loving it so much. It didn't stick with me like some books did, like this book did. Like, this book stuck with me. But, I'm glad I read it because this book was so well done. So well done. So this was the Jade Bones. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 out of 5 stars. Not quite 5 yet. Didn't blow me away, but it was still executed very well to the point where I did love it. I did. It really was a good book. I highly recommend it. I do recommend purchasing the book from your local bookseller or online book retailer. They are the best way to support the author because Amazon does undercut the profits to the author, unfortunately. So please support your bookstores and support your booksellers because they make better deals with publishers that better benefit the authors themselves. And you know what? Bookstores are great. I work at one. It's amazing. It's like my dream job. Always so happy. In fact, that's where I was today. If money's tight, I get it. I understand COVID is still reeling. Honestly, if it weren't for my 40% off book employee discount and the fact that I get so many arcs from publishers, thank you again, publishers, I don't know how I'd be able to read as much as I do. And I still have so much more to read. Please check out the book from your local library and support the author by leaving a review for them. Reviews are like free marketing for them, and it's great, and they always appreciate them. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me by liking this video and sharing it with all your book loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee or by purchasing one of my handmade candles. There are links in the description below. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.